We are absolutely lucky to have run into a legend of the cigar industry, Steve Saka from Dunbarton Cigars. Very nice to meet you, sir.
We met on the way to the bathroom. I was going to take a piss. I'm like, oh my God, you're Martin. Aren't you Martin? You're Martin from what? EtwasGenuss, right? Is that EtwasGenuss? I'm like, oh. I was like, you got to come and see me, man. You got to come. Will you smoke a cigar with me?
Yeah, I'd absolutely be delighted to.
And he was very gracious enough to say, hey, I really don't have a lot of time, but I can give you 3 minutes. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having us. So what's new with Dunbarton Cigars? What can people expect?
Well, I mean, look, this is always the challenge for our international customers. Look, we're still a small family company, but we make a lot of stuff. Probably a lot more than even some of the larger companies. I mean, the part of the business that I personally enjoy, other than the fact of making money, that part's good. But I've always enjoyed the creative part, making new blends, making new brands. It's the part that's fun. But sadly, because of the way international distribution works, you can't get those products into the global marketplace because of all the rules and the regulation and the paperwork and the fees. It's much slower. So our international Dunbarton customers, they really only get a very small sliver. Right? And look, what they get are good products, but they really are very rarely getting the cutting edge, the newest. And you can't send everything.
Yes.
Because, I mean, like just an example, in Norway, for example, to just bring in one SKU, one size, they pay about 1,200 euros, right? To just be allowed to import that one cigar. And how many, whatever, Sobremesa, Salita, Short Churchills are you going to sell to get back in Norway? You know what I mean? So it makes it really, really hard. But this year we kind of added we added 3 of our probably our hottest products in the United States. We added the new Sobremesa Wagashi, which is a variation of the Brulee blend, but it's not a bigger blue. It's a square press, like 6x52 roughly. I know I should know this off the top of my head, but you have to understand when you do pressed cigars, the measurement isn't the cigar that's finished. You're doing the measurement from when you're making in the mold before you trunk press it. So, but it's almost a creamier, more sophisticated adaptation of the Brulee blend, because the blue blend is really stronger.
Yeah. So
the blue blend really appeals to cigar smokers that normally smoke typically heavier cigars, darker cigars, and they want that occasional Connecticut, right? And they don't want a burning Connecticut, a sharp Connecticut. They want something mild, but blue has that little bit of extra zoom. But for the people that really love Brulee, that are classic Connecticut, creamy kind of smokers, most of them, blue isn't their favorite. They would rather smoke regular Brulee. So Wagashi is a way to give them something for when they want something special, a little extra, to add to their day. And then we added both of the Mikke Rita Blacks, the Saka Khan that we launched 2 years back, which is the double Corona size, and then we added the Papa Saka, which is 5 5/8 by 48 from last year. And in both cases, the Saka Khan was half-wheel consensus #1, and then the following year, Papa Saka, just last year, was #1. So we're this year making available to our international customers the last 2 #1s out of the half-wheel consensus list. And then to add a little cherry on top, I made a special blend that's just for international called Overseas. I mean, again, it's the same challenge. I do these crazy things in the United States, Baba Maria and Don Therma and Frog Juice and Halligan. But the difference is I can make a blend, I can put it on an import invoice, I can pay the taxes, and there's no extra paperwork, and I can sell it, where you can't do that anywhere else in the world. It's like there's registrations and there's fees, and like in France, you have to register a whole year in advance, right? You have to pay something like 3,000 or so euros to register the brand, and it has to get pre-approved by the government. So it doesn't work well for when I'm just trying to do creative, interesting things. So I wanted to come up with a way that we could start sharing a little bit of that kind of Dunbarton stuff that our American customers get. So I created a brand called Overseas, where we'll just always call it Overseas. The first one's Overseas #1, very, very creative, huh? #1, that's the first one. But then we can do a #2 and a #3, and you can register overseas one time. But it now gives a vehicle for me to make these different, I'm not saying better, okay, but these unique different ligas. And to be fair to my international supporters, I'm not taking one of the custom blends I make under another name in America and just, okay, well, we're gonna call it this over here. No, I'm doing the same work for them that I do for our American customers. I'm taking the time to make something different, unique, something that has its own character. And on top of that, I'm also doing the fair play of, we're not gonna sell in America.
That's very awesome.
Listen, you guys don't get anything, so here
it's not that bad.
Right, I know, but here's something for, you know, that's unique Dunbarton. And because I know we have a lot of customers around the world that they buy our specialty exclusive releases from the United States, and they pay the big dollars to get them sent to their country, and we appreciate that loyal support. So I wanted to do something where they had something that they don't have access to, and now it's our American customers that, hey, if you want it, you got to do the same thing that all these other people are doing. And of course, they're already bitching about it, but I mean, come on. You guys get like 7, 8 special things a year. I mean, a little bit of share here, you know?
Let the international customers
come on,
have something.
throw them a bone.
What would you say from your experience? What's the biggest difference from the cigar preferences that people have in the US to like Europe or even Germany?
Let me say this. This is an area I'm very ignorant of. I honestly don't know. I mean, look, traditionally, it was always milder. Traditionally, it was always smaller formats. Traditionally, it was always Habanos. But I don't interact with, you know, international customers. So the only international customers I interact with, consumers, cigar smokers, are people that are really active online, right? But the people that are really active online, they're just hardcore junkie cigar smokers, right? So they're my customer. You know, they're me, just with an accent, okay? So those people I really understand, right? But that average person that goes and buys cigars at Cigar World here in Germany, I really don't know it. So, and because I don't pay attention to the sales, I know what I have learned from what I've seen. We sell more Sober Mesa Brulee than anything else. And I've been told that for whatever reason, Europeans are really digging mild Connecticut shade cigars, right? Which is really, but I say that's odd, but it's odd because I'm a cigar junkie, right? So to me, I'd be the other way around, you know, but if you also think about, it's no different in the United States. Half the cigars still sold in America are Connecticut shade mild cigars, right? So, I mean, and the other thing that's kind of weird is, and I don't know if this is true, but, you know, like a couple, 3 years ago, they were telling me everybody wanted, like, you know, the big size cigars, the big formats, right? We make a couple. We have, they don't get sold internationally. We have a Graham Buffalo and Mi Querida, and we have a number 764 and Tricky Traca. I don't think we have any other donkey dick size cigars. Let me think about this. No, I think that's it. Really? Oh no, we have a custom that we make for our friends here in the Netherlands. We have a very large format of Sin Compromiso, the Elefante. Is that what it's called? I don't even know what it's called. No, the Amsterdammer. Boy, I'm bad at this job.
I mean, it was.
Remind me Monday to fire me.
With the Netherlands in Tampa, Florida, then yes.
Yeah, like but I mean, but they wanted a really large thing, and I'm like, really? You know, that didn't make sense to me, but I have to defer in that regard because I just don't know the market. I don't know the consumers. I only know the hardcore cigar people. Because hardcore cigar junkies are the same regardless of where they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but look, for us, it's going to be a long learning curve. And I think too, again, the hardcore people, they know who Dunbarton is, but man, the average German that walks into a cigar store, the average American who walks into a cigar store has no idea who Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust is, who Steve Saka is, what a Mickey Rita is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It takes a very educated consumer, you know. And I've always said this. I've always said our best customers are the ones that are the most experienced and the most discerning, the ones that have actually smoked enough cigars, tried enough brands, had enough experiences that they can actually tell that there's a quality difference in cigar. Because we all say our cigars are the best, right? We all say our cigars are amazing, right? Of course, and I wouldn't expect anyone not to say that. But you know, our cigars cost a little more, not crazy more, but a little more. They cost a little more because we spend more to make them. We put a little more attention into it. And guess what? The customer has to pay a little more for them. So the customer has to actually feel that he's getting value for their money. And if you're a relatively new cigar smoker and you've only smoked a few hundred cigars, you're not in a position to really even make that judgment. I know personally, I probably smoked for a good 10 years before I started to even understand what I liked flavor-wise in a cigar. And it probably took me another 10 years before I really started to like really zone in on this is what I like and why I like it and this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It takes a lot longer than people realize how much their palate changes. You go through these phases in the beginning, you fall in love with this brand, it's the most amazing thing ever. And a year later, you're like, why did I buy those 3 boxes? They're good, they're fine, but they're not singing me to the they used to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You go through so many transitions along the way, and I think it's no different. So for us, the more a customer has smoked and the more different brands that they've tried from various nationalities, it's actually good for a company like ours, because I think they're in a position where they could go, and I'm not saying that they're going to decide that ours are the best, but what I am saying is they're going to be in a position where they can tell the difference and they can make an intelligent choice about what is the right cigar for them, whether it be a Dunbarton or whether it be a Fuente or a Padron or a Habanos or a Davidoff or a Foundation, whatever it may be, or a Crux, right? Whatever it is.
So you just said that it took you a long time to basically find your own taste and to
refine it.
Yeah. So what is your own taste?
Well, it's simple. It's what the fuck I like to stick in my mouth. I mean, it's like everything in life. You know, I know that I like women that are a little chunkier and a little curvier. I don't want one of those skinny girls, right? I know that I like espresso more than American coffee. I know I don't like any sauce on my barbecue. I don't know why they're sticking all that ketchupy crap on it. I don't understand why anyone in the world eats oysters. It's like sucking snot off a shell. That's disgusting. But tens of millions of people absolutely love oysters, right? Are they wrong? No. And that's what it is about everything. We all, over time, figure out what we like, what's right for us, what makes us happy, what satisfies us. General cigar-wise, to kind of answer the question you're asking, I like cigars that are rich. I like cigars that are on the stronger side. But what I don't like is I don't like cigars that are peppery and sharp. I like cigars, even when the cigar is a strong cigar, it has to be smooth. If you notice that even in our strong blends, none of them are pepper bombs. None of them are the absolute like nicotine pound you into the ground. I went through a phase where I loved those. Like most hardcore cigar smokers, you go up the strength scale and you get to this point where you have that period like 3, 4, 5 years where you just want the hottest, the sharpest. You just keep trying to, and eventually you hit a wall, it can't get any stronger. And then you realize that you're just getting strength. and you're not getting any flavor. And almost everyone always kind of dials back a little bit. Now look, I still mix in a few of those face melters. Every once in a while I have that craving, but the reality is I like a cigar that as I'm smoking it, I find myself checking my pocket to see if I have another one because I want to have another one after this. I want it to be strong enough that it's satisfying as I'm smoking it, but I don't want it to wipe me out. I don't want it to leave my throat all itchy and burn my sinuses. And look, and there are certain flavors that I really jazz with. I'm more in the coffees, I'm more in the chocolate, I'm more in the earthy, I'm almost always in the sweet. I'm into the pepper, but I'm not into the sharp pepper. I like the spice to be there, but I don't like it to be the primary focus. Woody notes, I like them, but they have to be tempered for me. When you get a cigar that's really woody, it's very rare that I like it. Same thing, like I've never made a cigar with Sumatran wrapper. One of the reasons I've never done it is because traditionally Sumatran wrapper has a very big sourness to it that I get every time. But it's not that I don't like sour, it's about how is that sour presented, right? I like sour, and we were talking to Jeremy Reeves, he's the master blender at Cornell and Deal, and he smoked the cigar I'm talking about because I've been working on Sumatran for next year. And he said, yeah, it's like when you take that little bit of lemon peel with your espresso. It adds that just little tinge of sourness, but not where it's just sour. So it's starting to just understand what notes that you like, and I try to push those through in all the blends. And it's one of the things with our cigars. If you don't like what I like to smoke, you're not going to like any of our products, because I'm the only one that is involved in the blending. Nobody gets to taste any blends. Nobody gets to have any opinions. They don't even get to say, I think you should make it in this sizes. I think we should name it this. So everything that's the product is entirely my fault. It is, okay?
And your pride and joy.
Here's the thing. No matter what you do, you share it with people. You're gonna say it's too strong. He's gonna say it's too mild. He's gonna say he wishes it's sweeter. He's gonna say, oh no, I wish this was a Bellicoso. You're gonna say, no, this would be much better. Everyone has an opinion, and nobody's opinion is wrong, right? So in so many companies try to please everybody, and the problem is when you try to please everybody, you're not making anything special, anything unique, anything that has a particular character, right? And therein lies the problem, because, and this is a saying I've said a million times, but I always say that if you make a cigar that everybody likes, you've ultimately made a cigar that nobody loves. Right? And what you want is you want to get 100 people to try something, and you just need one person to go, wow, that really was special. I really enjoy that. You know, I'm gonna buy that box and I'm gonna put it in my humidor, and when I get down to the last 3 cigars in that box, guess what? I'm gonna buy another box, because there's plenty of good, decent, fine cigars. What you're looking for is you're looking for that cigar that you find satisfying. And I think that, so when you smoke our cigars, you're basically getting my perspective, what I like. So if your palate aligns with my palate, you're gonna find our cigars to be the absolute best in the world. If your palate doesn't align with my palate, you're gonna be like, I don't understand why people like Dunbarton. I don't get why everybody says that's such a great cigar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because even from our mildest to our strongest, it's still what I personally like. That's what it is. So it's a little different than a lot of other companies. He was worried. He was like, you think I could talk to you for 3 minutes?
we didn't want to take up too much of your time.
I'm not doing anything. It's our last day of Dortmund. We have a meeting in, I don't even know, at 11 o'clock. About an hour. I got nothing to do.
Yeah, but sadly we have to head.
They have to go.
Yeah,
well, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. It was a great
Thank
honor.
you very much, Steve. Thank you for having us. I'm excited to see more of Dunbarton cigars here in Germany. I myself, I enjoy the Supremesa Brûlée very much.
Oh, thank
it's
you.
like the classic Connecticut Meyer cigars, and I'm delighted to see more of Dunbarton here in Germany.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, all the best. Thank you.
Bye.